Hello, hello, hello. The truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. So the question is, how do you keep yourself motivated? Now, that's a really, really profound and important question. In fact, I would say a large part of our issue today in the modern world is how to keep ourselves motivated. It's very easy to get motivated. However, it's also likewise very easy to not stay motivated. We find this, I think, more with men, that men seem to get passionate like a fire, but then it sort of burns out. Women, on the other hand, seem to have much more concentration ability, but a lot of that is also connected to anxiety. And when we do have anxiety, one of the kind of fringe benefits of anxiety, because anxiety is really the brain in panic mode, that we basically are afraid of something, so we're very focused. So the anxiety is a kind of artificial mechanism, which that's what it's there for, because let's say when you're in a danger, fight or flight mode, you have to defend yourself above all else. That's why the blood flow will go away from kind of thinking, will go away from kind of, let's say, your digestive system. It basically, your body goes into a kind of a state in which it's highly, highly focused. In fact, there's a drug, I forgot what it's called, but they actually give it to patients. I'm not sure what it is, maybe to dilate the blood vessels or something, but it literally is a drug that's produced when you're anxiety. So when a person's in anxiety, they're in an entirely different state of mind and body, and it really is only there to focus a person. So ironically, being totally focused, somebody who's super focused, is also not a healthy state. So there has to be a balanced state. And the question, which is how do you keep yourself motivated, is a very, very important and good question. Because ultimately, you don't want to be in a state of doing nothing. A lot of people in the West, because there's great prosperity, there's great laziness and lack of accomplishment and lack of meaningful lives. But on the other hand, you don't want to be in a state of kind of you're doing things because you're anxious, you're afraid. It's a little bit like Maslow's hierarchy. Now, everybody's familiar with Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs, and he goes from basically the need for safety, and then there's a need of like love, and then he speaks about a need for, they call it self-actualization, which that's a very important word, self-actualization. Now, the thing about it is like this. I can tell you um, from personal experience, and more importantly from the Kabbalah's perspective, you have to imagine a pyramid. So you've got the right side, you got the left side, and you have a center. So on the right side is kind of our, let's call it attractive emotions, emotions that cause an attraction to someone or something. On the left side, you have the retraction emotion. So something is fear basically causes a retraction. So like we said, when a person is in a state of safety, it's easy to fall in love with something. I think a lot of marriages fail. Not only I think I know, most marriages fail. This is very interesting because certainly if you want a marriage to work, you have to know how to work it. So 80% of divorce comes from women. Women want the divorce. But really, the reason they want the divorce is because they feel that the men are not committed to the marriage. And that's because men, we are very good at falling in love, but we're not very good at doing the work that it takes. It's like it's easy to make a fire, but it's not so easy to stand every day and feed the fire. So women have much better kind of long-term thing. Again, it does also get connected to anxiety, so it's also not like, oh wow, they're just a super person. But by us men, I would say most of us, there are certain men that have kind of, they're gifted, and these people become the entrepreneurs of the world. They're very driven, very focused. They know what they want, and actually sometimes from even a very young age. But most of us, myself included, we're not like that. Anxiety can push us in a direction, and an attractive emotion can push us. But if those two emotions are lacking, the anxiety is lacking and the attraction is lacking, then what is actually going to make you actually stay on course? And so this is where you get into another realm, and this is the realm of conviction. And effectively, the only way that you can keep yourself motivated is you have to believe in God. You have to believe that you're here for a reason. If you're a Jew, God gave 613 commandments. There are a lot of books and on the 613 commandments. If you're a Gentile, you have 7 laws. And basically it boils down to whether you're a Jew or a Gentile, you have to be kind and you have to be good, which means not being bad, not hurting anyone. So those are the 2 rules. Those are effectively the 2 rules. Be kind and don't hurt anyone. And that is not a kind of, most of us grew up and we were told to be good when we were bad. So we don't realize that being good is not just like, oh, it's the kind of default position that you have to do so somebody doesn't chastise you. No, being good is the reason the world exists. Rabbi Rashab, one of the mystics, said that when a person helps another person, God says, this is the reason my world was created. Kindness is the only reason of the world. So in order to stay motivated, you have to have a primary motivation. You can't be motivated unless you have a motivation. And so the answer to your question is, the only way you're going to be motivated is you got to become spiritual. You got to believe. And as a rabbi, I believe I can say this with authority that, our tradition goes straight back. In fact, I'm from the tribe of Levi, which is well-known tribe of teachers, literally going back to the first Levi, which was one of the 12 sons of Jacob. And we were there when God gave the Torah, and it's never ceased. It's continuous tradition. And the tradition is quite simple. It boils down to not that, oh, in order not to get caught, in order not to be shamed. No, I have one mission in this life, which is to be kind and not to be cruel. And that itself is enough, because if I do that, I mean, everybody wants that. You want people to be kind to you and not to be cruel. So if you do that, you are creating unity in the world. And this is one of the primary reasons the world was created, because God is lacking in unity. God is one. But all of us are like parts of God, like a kind of, let's say, a white color diffusing into its multicolors, but it all comes from the white. And then when they come together, you have the beauty of harmony, unity, a majestic kaleidoscope which forever creates such a warm you that anybody that's participating in it, yourself, the people you give to, feel that life is truly meaningful.